This is a video showing our annotation of the extract on page 83 to 84. We will be pointing out themes, imagery, characterization, and choice of diction and tone using a color coordination method. The color red shows if the extract shows themes. The color blue shows imagery, similes, metaphors, or personification, and the use of pictures, descriptive language. Green will be the color for characterization, and lastly, yellow will be the color showing a special choice in tone and diction. The most present theme in this extract is the theme of time and time passing. This can be seen in the sentence, "Every month there is a moon, gigantic, round, heavy, and omen." This is effective in Atwood's writing because in The Handmaid's Tale, it is essential that it can be placed in any time or period. Therefore, this theme of timelessness and time passing is very important, so that it enforces that this situation can be placed anywhere in time and it can happen at any time. The theme of time passing and nothing really happening within it also shows and represents how Offred is really passive in her rebellion, and she doesn't think to do anything against the state. She would rather just be bored and watch time pass. Another essential theme and important theme in this extract is the theme of emptiness and the theme of indifference of Offred's feelings towards the state and towards what is happening. This can be seen when she says that it wants food, but how can there be any food with the apartment being so empty? This is a rhetorical question that Offred asks herself because she is lost in her situation and she's currently hallucinating about the past. She's pretty much caught up in the past for the whole novel, and she doesn't focus on the future and what she's planning to do. She's stuck in the past and what she misses, and this kind of shows her weakness towards rebelling against the state. The tone in this sentence also seems very sad, and as it seems as if she's given up on everything and she thinks there's no way out of her situation. Once again, reinforcing that Offred is not a very strong character that believes she can do anything about the situation. Next, we will be looking at examples of descriptive and emotive language shown in imagery, similes, metaphors, and personification. This is highlighted in the color blue. A great part of the extract focuses on Offred symbolizing her body as a vessel and not as an actual body, but different things, such as that she sinks down into her body as into a swamp, or that her body is treacherous ground, her own territory. This uses similes and metaphors and forces that Offred might be moving away and finding distance within her soul and her actual body, and that she believes that she does not belong into her body. And the choice of tone in this part of the extract shows that she's not happy and symbolizes her body as a not very wanted thing. This is also seen when she says that her body feels like swellings and diminishings of tissue, the droolings of the flesh. Her body is simply a vessel, and she kind of describes it as a gross and detached thing from her actual world or what she cares about. Ultimately, she describes her body as a not very nice thing to be living in. Another meaning that using these metaphors could convey is that she doesn't understand herself or know herself well enough, that her body and her soul is detached from each other. Possibly a reason why she says her body is treacherous ground and her own territory. Possibly that could be her act of rebellion against the state, saying it's her own territory, because essentially she's owned by the state. She's owned by the aunts. In the sentence, each twinge, each murmur of slight pain, ripples of sloughed-off manner, swellings and diminishings of tissue, the droolings of flesh. We believe that Offred is describing the menstrual cycle. And as this is such a central part to her existence and her importance and power, she describes this very authentically by using a gloomy tone and diction and use of very descriptive words such as droolings of the flesh, which kind of make the reader feel uncomfortable, showing that she's not fond of what is happening to her and what people are doing to her, and that she is just objectified the whole situation and has no feelings or emotions towards it because it has gained so much control over her life, as her pure existence depends on her viable ovaries. Therefore explaining why she uses such a vivid and clear description of her body that might make the audience feel uncomfortable. Another area where Atwood includes the importance of the theme of the importance of her ovaries is as she says, "I am a cloud, congealed around a central object, the shape of a pear, which is hard and more real than I am, and glows red within its translucent wrapping." She states that Offred is a cloud, therefore personifying a cloud as her being. This shows that she is detached from her body, and her mind thinks independently from what her body thinks. Also, in this sentence, if you look closer into it, she's describing her ovaries as the thing that glows red within its translucent wrapping and its pear shape. Therefore, again, showing the importance of her ovaries in this theme. And it also shows that she might be grossed out by her own body and feel like it's an empty vessel just for use for the state, for purpose of serving the state, but not for her own happiness. There is also more use of imagery by using color, which is seen in the statement that inside it is a space, huge as the sky at night and dark and curved like that, through black-red rather than black. Black and red are both very dark, scary colors that convey strong emotions and possible anger and fear, which is probably what Offred is feeling together at this time because she doesn't know what is going to happen to her. She doesn't know if she is going to get pregnant, therefore fulfill her purpose and essentially survive. However, even though she does not say it openly, using these colors might show that she is slightly angry, that she might want to do something, but she doesn't know how because she's under control. If she does anything against the state, she might get killed. And this shows, again, the theme of the reality of this book because many people don't do anything against totalitarian states because they believe that it would harm themselves even more and in the end not do any good. Therefore, Atwood effectively connects this to the real life and lets the reader reflect on our own behaviors and if we're followers or not, and what we feel most comfortable in. There is also a sign of giving up of Offred in the sentence, "I see despair coming towards me like famine." This is a metaphor used to display how she is feeling and how she feels like there is no way out of her situation. The use of the word famine also symbolizes her need for love and support and feeling safe. So basically, this might show that she has given up on hope. Next, we will be looking at the characterization of Offred by Margaret Atwood. Offred says that each month she watches for blood fearfully, for when it comes, it means failure. It shows her despair and how little power she has over what is happening, as the monthly cycle is a natural thing, and if you are impregnated or not is not your actual decision. Therefore, however much she might want to become pregnant, she doesn't have any effect over this. This also shows that she has no power over what is happening to her body. However, her body is a source of power in the same way. So this power play shows that in theocracies, people often have power over different things and different objects. However, it may not always be effectively used because the people don't realize this. Or they have no choice other than to obey the state because otherwise their power might be taken from them. And they feel more safe in this situation that they are in right now than to die. The use of the strong word failure creates a great impact on the reader because if someone describes themselves as a failure, you really realize that they have no more value in living and that their life has been drained from happy moments or comfort. Offred also describes the scene of her past as she hallucinates. She says, "Around me, I know it's empty. All the furniture is gone. The floors are bare. No carpets even. But despite this, the cupboard is full of clothes." This shows that before the totalitarian theocracy of Gilead, she still didn't do any rebellion against the state or formulate her opinion or even value the things that she had, such as Luke. It was also just empty space, and this possibly might be the reason why she finds the isolation bearable and why she doesn't actually rebel against what the aunts are doing to her. This characterizes her character as a very passive person, and she might be caught up in her own problems and issues as she might not realize how unhappy she is and that there might be hope for something else. However, she'd rather write down her emotions and feelings into this diary, which she's writing, because that might be the only way of giving her comfort, because she has no one to talk to. There is a change in tone seen in the sentence. I used to think of my body as an instrument of pleasure or a means of transportation or an implement for the accomplishment of my will. This brings a slightly upturn in the tone because she uses more positive adjectives such as instrument or pleasure or a means of transportation, which are all positive things. And she just states the freedoms she's had before but never really valued and now has lost. And she also states that there were limits, but her body was nevertheless lithe, single, solid, one with me. Again, reinforcing that she has detached from her body and is floating in the clouds, as said before. She also highlights how she has no power over her own body and how she can't accomplish her own will in her body and therefore is trapped in this way of the state. This change in the perception of her body is also shown in the sentence when she says that now the flesh arranges itself differently, saying that literally her body has changed physically and is no longer a means of her will and her power, which she has lost through the theocracy. In the last sentence of the extract, Offred says, "Luke," I say. He doesn't answer. Maybe he doesn't hear me. It occurs to me that he may not be alive. This is a very sad and depressing tone at the end, possibly showing that she's given up. She keeps on having memories of the past. However, she doesn't use them to motivate her to fight further. It's more of a way of taking her down even further into her depression or sad spiral. Another use of imagery that we missed out on before is when Offred says that she pulls out dresses out of the cupboard, black, blue, purple, jackets, skirts, but none of them will do. None of them even fit. They're either too big or too small. This is another memory of her past, and this use of color enforces how she used to have the freedom of choosing a color and actually choosing vivid colors suiting her mood. We lastly want to highlight the importance of the theme of time passing seen in the sentence to feel that empty again. I listen to my heart, wave upon wave, salty and red, continuing on and on, marking time. First of all, she uses repetition by saying again, saying that time and everything that she's exposed to every day is the same. She doesn't get exposed to new stimuli. And also the fact that she says continuing on and on, that her heart keeps on moving, might be a glimpse of hope, because she says that of course she'll live on if she continues like this, and there might be hope for something new in the end.